Welcome to the jungle where dreams go to die. The Democratic Republic of Congo. A name that sings of hope, doesn't it? Democracy, Republic, Congo. All great things, individually. Together, it's like mixing Mentos and Diet Coke. Explosive results, and someone's gonna get covered in sticky mess. Right now, that someone is everyone caught in the crosshairs of the M23 rebellion. These guys are ambitious, they're brutal, and they make Kanye's 2024 presidential bid look well thought out. Because the M23 aren't just fighting for a slice of the Congolese cake. They want the whole damn bakery, and they're perfectly happy to burn it down once they're done, just to make sure nobody else gets a crumb. So, buckle up, kids. We're about to dive headfirst into a conflict where the good guys are debatable, the bad guys are worse, and the only winning move might be not to play. But where's the fun in that? Who are these M23 lads, you ask? Imagine a boy band. Now, swap the synchronized dance moves for AK-47s, replace the catchy pop tunes with the screams of terrified villagers, and trade the dreamy good looks for, well, let's just say Rwanda did not send their best. M23 claims to be all about Congolese nationalism. They say they're fighting for the little guy, for a better tomorrow. It's a good story. Too bad it's about as believable as a politician's promise, because the truth is, M23 is less Robin Hood, more Robin everyone. Hood or not. They've been accused of everything from mass killings to rape to recruiting child soldiers. You know, Tuesday for them. But hey, at least they're ambitious, right? These guys are advancing across Congo faster than a Kardashian marriage implodes. Their goal? Kinshasa, the capital. And judging by their track record, they're not planning a diplomatic brunch. Now, no good dictator wannabe group operates in a vacuum. Even the most incompetent rebel group needs someone to, buy the bullets. Enter Rwanda, stage left, looking suspiciously shifty. Rwanda's involvement is the world's worst-kept secret. It's like trying to hide a hippo in a bathtub. You can try, but everyone knows it's there, and things are about to get messy. Of course, Rwanda denies everything. They're just concerned neighbors, offering a helping hand. That helping hand just happens to be holding a rocket launcher, aimed squarely at Congo. Meanwhile, the rest of Africa is getting twitchy. South Africa's throwing some serious side-eye after some of their peacekeepers, stop keeping peace. Permanently. The East African bloc is calling for calm, which is like asking a hurricane to just chill out for a bit. It's a whole geopolitical soap opera, with more backstabbing than an episode of Real Housewives of Kigali. Get your popcorn ready, folks. This is gonna be good. Now, let's talk about the real victims in all of this, the Congolese people. Because while the politicians and warlords are playing their games of thrones, it's the everyday folks who are getting screwed. Goma, a city of 2 million, is now under M23 control. And by control we mean lawless chaos where looting is the national sport. The humanitarian crisis is about as subtle as a brick to the face. But hey, at least M23 is holding rallies, promising peace and prosperity. It's all very heartwarming, assuming you ignore the trail of bodies they left to get there. It's like hiring a fox to guard your henhouse and being surprised when all your chickens go missing. The Congolese army, meanwhile, is about as effective as a toilet teapot. They're outnumbered, outgunned, and probably out of tea too. It's not exactly a recipe for success. Remember the Rwandan genocide back in 1994? No? Well, join the club. Humanity has a remarkable talent for ignoring its own atrocities. It's like our collective superpower. Rwanda went through a genocide where Hutu extremists slaughtered nearly 1 million Tutsis. It was horrific. It was preventable. And it's scarily relevant today. Because guess what? Many of the key players in that conflict are back for round 2, only this time they're using the Congo as their personal boxing ring. The parallels are chilling. The international community's deafening silence is even worse. The hope lies in our ability to come together and demand change. Because when we do, real change is possible. Now let's talk about the international response to the Congo war and crisis. Spoiler alert, it's a mixed bag. The United Nations, in its usual fashion, has deployed peacekeeping missions to the region. Dubbed MONUSCO, this mission has been one of the largest and most expensive in UN history. Yet despite the blue helmets on the ground, peace remains elusive. The mandate is robust, but the execution, not so much. Critics argue that the mission has been more about maintaining a presence than achieving real peace. Neighboring countries haven't been idle either. Rwanda, Uganda, and Burundi have all played roles in the conflict, sometimes for better, often for worse. Their involvement ranges from military incursions to providing sanctuary for rebel groups. It's a geopolitical chess game where the Congolese people are mere pawns. Then we have the global powers. The United States, the European Union, and China each have their vested interests. The the US and EU have imposed sanctions on key figures and entities, aiming to stifle the flow of arms and resources fueling the conflict. But sanctions alone are like putting a band-aid on a bullet wound. China, with its eyes on the region's mineral wealth, has been more about economic engagement than humanitarian concern. Speaking of humanitarian efforts, various NGOs and international organizations have been tirelessly working to provide aid. Food, medical supplies, and shelter are being distributed, but the scale of the crisis dwarfs these efforts. It's like trying to fill an ocean with a teaspoon. Diplomatic interventions have been attempted, with peace talks held in various capitals around the world. But the road to peace is fraught with potholes and dead ends. The international community's fractured approach only adds to the complexity. In the end, the global response to the Congo crisis is a patchwork of actions. Some well-intentioned, others self-serving. And the people of Congo? They're still waiting for a solution that seems perpetually out of reach. So, the big question on everyone's mind, is this the spark that ignites World War III? The conflict that finally tips the scales of global sanity and sends us spiraling into the apocalypse? Well, it's certainly possible, but it's not that deep. We've got regional tensions running hotter than a chili cook-off. We've got historical baggage heavier than a Kardashian's luggage allowance. And we've got enough weapons floating around to arm a small planet. Add in some international apathy, a dash of political opportunism, and a sprinkle of good old-fashioned human stupidity, and you've got a recipe for disaster. It's like watching a toddler play with matches near a fireworks factory. What could possibly go wrong? Now, we're not saying it's guaranteed, but then again, we're not saying it's not. And that, my friends, is the terrifying beauty of the situation. We're all just along for the ride, clinging on for dear life as the world hurtles towards potential oblivion. Stay tuned, folks. Things are about to get worse. The Congo is a mess. M23 are the villains we deserve, but not the ones we need right now. Rwanda's playing puppet master, and the rest of the world is hitting the snooze button. Will this be the next great African war? Will it spiral into a global conflict? Will anyone still care in a week when the next celebrity scandal breaks? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, it's gonna be a wild ride. So stay subscribed, folks. We'll be here at Dip Lab, dissecting the chaos with our signature blend of dark humor and existential dread. Because if we can't laugh at the impending apocalypse, what can we laugh at?